Hey Bear.
Hey Bear.
And isn't there a new one? Yee yee. All right.
Yee.
Yeah.
Right.
Bringing that back.
Hello World is the new one.
Welcome to the episode about the episode called The Stuff We Didn't Get To in 2022. Is that what it's called?
I think our episode's called The Stuff Nateland Didn't Get To in 2022.
It's going to also be called The Stuff We Didn't Get To because...
Okay, is this going to be like 3 hours? Because I feel like this is going to be a very long show.
Okay. Well, no, we can't.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Give us that fresh, fat rundown, Brandi.
Fresh, fat rundown vibes in the house.
With a PH.
On episode 129 of Nateland, Things We Didn't Get To in 2022, we took a trip back through all the topics that Breakfast researched, but the guys never got around to. Dusty assured us that if dinosaurs were real, Godzilla, aka dragons, were real too. Nate hung out with the tiger. Aaron's story of meeting his wife was about as exciting as when Nate met his mechanic. And Brian abided by the buddy system at the doctor's office. Yetis, Big Bird, cold ketchup, and weird numbers stuff that proved that Common Core is definitely not the best thing that Nate has ever been a part of.
I particularly like the number stuff.
Yeah. Number stuff.
Good.
That's theology.
All right. Well, in traditional fashion, we have an Eric T. Peterson review of Texas, our last episode, featuring the one and only Chad Anders, not Anderson. All right.
Correct.
So, this is our review featuring founding father Chad Anders, guest star, his East German haircut. Looking good, folks. R.I.P. Matt Organ. He had a good run. And Eric T. Peterson misses you. A Texas-sized rundown followed by me, which I think he means him. This is getting confusing. All right. Yeah. Now listen. The earpods are brand new. It's left side only, also on my soundbar. And others commented on it, including the venerable. And what does that mean?
I don't know, but that sounds kind of...
Venereal disease.
No.
Venerable. Vulnerable? Is it vulnerable?
Venerable.
Maybe he meant vulnerable.
Sarah Chia. You're venerable now.
Shout out, Sarah.
Veggie mix. What's that from? Don't forget to...
It's Lucy, sorry.
Okay. I'm mixing up my references.
Venom.
Say what you want about me, and Eric T. Peterson, not me, but I can't sit idly by while you disparage the chia. Boom, roasted.
Do not disparage the chia.
I don't know how that's a roast. Is he potentially cooking something in the crock pot? Folk feature bingo. Eric hates bingo. Toothy grins at the BMB, DMB, DMB, DUMB. That last part was my ad. Jen hates Aaron. That is not my statement. That is his statement. Aaron hates Dusty. Aaron loves cake. Folkland loves baking shows. Don't litter with Texas. Skyline chili from KC in a can. I'd try it. You know, I heard firsthand experience. Skyline chili is not bad, so it's on my list to try. Dogs and Rolls. Biller Bates, the parade chancellor, only on Nateland with
Bitter
their
Bates. It was bitter, not Biller.
Okay, well, you know, I don't think they correct Nate when he says things bad. So, yeah, they do. They do. What did I say?
What did I say?
Biller. Like he's auditing someone.
Okay. Biller Bates. Killer Biller Bates. Bitter Bates, the parade chancellor, only on Nateland with their less pricey sponsors. Chad's wife's body stats. Competitive Alaskans. Chad learns that Nateland isn't always accurate. Jen yawns, which she's close to doing again. Folkland derailed by baseball talk equal to Nateland veering from Texas talk. Are you ready for that again tonight, Brandi? Astros, Yankees. All right.
Aaron Judd, steroids.
Folkland, we can't get too into it because then you'll lose me. Folkland derail. Oh, we just read that. Brandy's 5-year-old Jen impersonation. What was that? What's that?
It was, I'm going to be a princess.
Yeah, when you were running away.
Probably spot on. A high watermark of the episode. Fast
Thank
math
you.
Chad.
High watermark.
Accuracy suffers at those speeds.
Compliment.
The independent nation of Six Flags, Osteen is always with us. And Del
boy's
Rio
up
is
there.
down there. Oh, I shouldn't have pointed. All right. Cement, that's all I'll say. JW lose.
Cement.
That's what I said. Cement?
Yes,
Okay.
you did good.
Okay.
Moving on.
With a T. JW loses $1,000 bet. The
Mm.
Texas Power Grid is so good. Breakfast Bites includes a bull crap. Shame. And Weiss hates cats. Meow. So yeah, I forgot that I said I hated Cats the musical. So I did comment on this and say, I don't hate cats.
Right, you
Yeah.
did. You did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
Okay.
have one thing to say. Vitamita
say it.
Benjamin. That's the proper.
Vitamita Benjamin. You're right. And you know what I was thinking of? When they solved the decoder from A Christmas Story. Have you finished it yet? I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
Don't
And
want
he
to
says-
spoil it.
He says, don't forget to drink your
forget to drink your
Ovaltine. A
Ovaltine.
crummy commercial?
Yeah.
And then we
Okay.
hit mute so that my little kids don't hear that next line after that.
What did he say?
He says,
I'm
son
not
of
gonna say it.
biscuit.
Well, we do like biscuits on Folkland, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of Seabiscuit.
So we do have a comment, and I wanted to read it so that we can clear some things up. Maybe not clear it, but we'll
Clear it
address
up.
it.
Clear it up for the folks.
All
at
right.
home.
Jeremy Messer-Smith Barnett, thank you first of all for listening to Folkland. We appreciate you. You say, hey, folk. Sorry. Dusty referred to GMOs in the AstroTurf segment, and I think that's where the riff about him staying on the dirt came from. This is the second time I have tuned into Folkland after Nateland. It is very difficult to listen to. The sound levels truly are all over the board, and this time the lower right Zoom pod, cool, was completely out of sync. I'll be back. Hopefully it'll get better. The parts I can hear are pretty enjoyable.
Oh, that was really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I asked
Yeah.
asked Jacy to read this so we could go ahead and just address this openly out in front of everyone, just air our dirty laundry. What's
Yeah.
up with the issues, Jacy? I mean,
I don't know. It's a new platform, new co-host, new editor.
well, that
um,
was a joke. I'm not at all saying it's Jacy's fault.
I have no
Um,
idea. It could be very well my fault. But I will say that we are working on it.
We don't know
And
what we're doing, folks.
Keep tuning in because we're just going to get better. And hey, this is your chance to get back with us on the ground floor before we really make it. So just follow us,
We're
subscribe.
fine, folk.
We're going to be pretty huge. So you want to still stay tuned. Okay.
I think that right now it is like when Britney Spears started recording some music in her hometown, and people would run into her in the grocery store and they'd be like, "Oh, Britney, did you do that? That was so cute." That's where we're at, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, Jeremy, like, I just really want to encourage you. Like, it gives you the opportunity to just go ahead and be like, "Hey, I knew them when Jen was saying this." And then the sound came 3 minutes later. So,
Yeah. Exactly. And now I'm wearing them on my shirt. Their faces are on my shirt. They
That's
have
a
all
new
these
face
cool merch.
shirt.
So, face shirt.
I am curious how famous we can get when all of our like fans have to be fans of someone else first.
Yeah.
Although I did tell you guys, my sister tuned in. She's not a Nateland fan, not because she didn't like it, but she just like had never seen it. So I remember sending it to my dad, and he watched. So I guess he must have, I don't know, word must have got around the family. So she watched us and then went and watched Nateland and was not into it and said, "I'm pretty sure you guys are funnier," which made me laugh so much because I'm like, we can't be. anything without that. So
We're not, and we know it. Thank you so much. It is to your credit, Jen's sister, because
shout out Jacy.
yeah, because I have likened what we do of being a reaction show to being like the post-game show. And if you didn't watch the football game, you have no idea what's going on Folkland. So
yeah, but maybe we're still pretty funny and pretty cool. People still stick around.
we hope so.
Yeah,
My head is getting so big. Let's stop talking about
We're
this.
like our own people.
Your Santa hat's going to pop right off in a second, Jacy.
I existed before Nateland. I'd like you to know.
Yes. Speaking of the good old days when Dusty wasn't there, apparently that's what I think Nate said in the pre-comments.
Yeah, so
And,
I think we should reminisce on the good old days before you guys were here. So, man,
Okay, go ahead.
those were great, huh? Didn't you love it? Chad. Oh, Fantasia Jesus? Who remembers that? Anybody?
I do remember that because I used to watch. I do remember Fantasia Jesus.
I actually was sad that when Chad came on, Fantasia Jesus wasn't in the background.
Brandi, you're gonna have to go back and watch that one.
Gonna have to look it up.
My
Somebody
God.
send me a link.
It's in our YouTube page.
I meant
Yeah.
that episode.
Oh yes.
Is
okay.
it?
Yes.
Is it like? It's kind of hilarious that
address.
Brandi. It's kind of hilarious that you didn't really watch Folkland
Just a
beforehand.
little.
Well, I think it's funny, and it's kind of like Dusty. Like, I don't think he was like watching every episode, you know?
He was too busy doing his own podcast.
Yeah, he was too
Yeah.
busy making compost and
Mm-hmm.
catching rainwater in a barrel.
Well, what about Nate talking about his special on Amazon?
Pretty cool.
Hello World, and saying
I
that
like-
he'll actually own it. That's why he went
Yeah.
back.
That's awesome.
I like that we
Yeah.
got the story behind the name. I
Mhm.
almost thought there wasn't going to be one. I just kind of
Mm.
thought it was like instead of folks, they used the word world
Mm.
because it was for the world.
It
Well,
might have been, and then he saw Tiger and was like, "I'm going to do that."
He was like, actually,
Yeah.
wait, that's where I heard it from. Actually, oh God, yeah.
Can you imagine they came up with that and then Tiger's there like my head what? Yeah, my head would want to explode that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. He got to meet him though.
Oh, wait. I thought you were saying naming the special Hello World would make Tiger Woods' head explode.
No.
I was like, I don't think
No.
somehow that is that big of a deal to him.
No. But I do think I think, you know, Nate's been around for a while, but he's also now gotten to this place where he's been at a certain level long enough to have figured out some of that, and good for him for owning this special. It sounds like the exact same thing that you heard from Joanne and Chip Gaines. You know, it's like after being in television for a while, they realized that they didn't have ownership over what they were doing, and that's why they made their new network, so that they could have a say-so and own what they make.
Reese Witherspoon also has done that.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to do it myself.
She was inspired.
Well,
I'm gonna
we need
secede
to-
from Folkland and make my own land.
Genland.
Oh, that was the seed, please.
Well, we need to tune in to see Aaron sitting very close to the front
Yeah.
and saying enough. And we need to all look and see who is he talking to in the moment where he
So,
went off.
who are you guys gonna watch it with? You got big plans?
I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
we
there
should
was some talk in the group about a watch party or
we should
something.
do a watch party. That'd be
Ooh.
fun. Maybe we could try and do it live on YouTube.
I
or
would
something.
like to watch it with a real life person. But
That's
I
true.
I might also.
Does it
into
show up
that,
at
you know.
midnight or something crazy like that? I mean,
No, I don't think so. If it comes out on that day, it's gonna be like, well, it might be midnight like that day. You know what I mean? Like January 31st.
mm-hmm.
Do you guys ever think January 31st is New Year's Eve?
I actually briefly thought that when I first was writing this date down, and then was like, no, that's wrong.
Thank God. My whole entire life, I've done that. New Year's Eve happens. January 31st comes around. I'm thinking, it's New Year's Eve. And it already happened.
Boy, that was a quick
It
year.
already
It's so
happened.
sad. I should have a second New Year's Eve. I'm going to start that tradition this year.
So the
So
first
she's going to
New Year's
have
Eve
her
between-
own
yeah,
Genland,
the
her
month of
own New Year's
January
Eve.
is just like a rehearsal
How about
for you.
Yeah. I love rehearsal.
Gen Year's
She
Eve.
needs a Gen world. You need your own world.
Gen World?
What
Oh.
about Brian being meek? Do you remember
Well,
that conversation?
I like how they were like, the meek will inherit the earth, and then 2.5 seconds later turn meek into a bad thing that Brian didn't want to be. It was like, oh, okay. Well,
He pointed out, though,
I also
meek
don't-
does not mean weak.
right. I also don't. I don't mean this seriously for all the folks watching who tend to get offended by things. I was going to say, I don't think Brian's that meek. I mean, he's out there making jokes, making fun of people, and
Yeah,
very condescending to Dusty, you know?
apparently.
So-
Dusty wasn't so dumb.
He took his phone number off his website. I mean, not meek.
Listen,
Oh
I
my
don't know
gosh.
if this is meek or what, but Dusty, I'm so sorry. I just made that joke because I don't think you're dumb. Or, well,
Wow,
I don't really
Brandi.
think you're listening
Jen,
either. though.
You don't apologize in comedy, Brandi.
Oh,
Just,
you're right,
just
you're
call her
right.
my name.
Told
I
Honey.
You
think
even
I
know
did
who we
just call-
are.
I think
What are
I
you,
just
my
called
mom?
her.
Calling me by the wrong name?
Okay.
All right, folks,
I am a
moving
mom,
on. Here we go.
and yes.
Pennies on the grave. Let's move on to the next.
All right.
I was
Pennies on
pretending
the
to be
grave.
another person for a moment because I don't do the moving along thing.
I have a funny little thing
Pennies on the
about
grave.
pennies on the grave. It's not hilarious, but the only time I've ever seen
Okay.
pennies on the grave.
Definitely tell us.
Sorry, that's a funny line.
Okay,
ahead.
you guys want to hear a mundane story about a historical grave marker?
Please do.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna check my
we
email.
we live in
meek
Indiana,
comment.
and a couple of years ago, before school started, we made a little trip down to Santa Claus, Indiana, and its neighboring town is Lincoln,
I want to
Indiana.
go there.
Yeah, it's very small but fun. It has a theme park. Anyway, its
Ooh.
neighboring town is Lincoln, Indiana, which is where Abraham Lincoln spent his childhood. And you think that's something that would have been mentioned on the Indiana episode, but it didn't get
Did they
mentioned.
name it after him? What was it called before him?
Before the 1800s? Or I don't know.
Okay,
Anyway,
we'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Jay Cutler certainly doesn't know from the Indiana episode. Anyway, enough with that. So we took the kids down there and we did some of the fun Santa Claus stuff, but then we also went to the Lincoln Boyhood Home and did that historical stuff. And
Was it his birth
mother,
house?
say
Birth
what?
house.
Was it his birth house?
It wasn't his birth house. That's in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just making
His
sure.
childhood house. Elvis was born in a different room. Anyway, so Lincoln's mama is buried there, and her name was Nancy Hanks Lincoln.
Mama.
Mama Lincoln buried
Mama
there.
Lincoln.
Ooh.
And it also makes me, side note, wonder if Tom Hanks can be tracked back to the Lincolns because his
I
mama.
don't know, but I just found a document called A Brief History of Lincoln City, Indiana. So I'm going to find that answer while you talk.
Oh, well, that's really exciting. Anyway, so at her grave, it was covered in pennies. And that is the only time I've ever experienced this phenomenon. And literally, I just thought that it was making a connection and paying homage because Lincoln is on the penny. I thought they threw the pennies on there as like to honor him, to honor his mom.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's not the case.
Maybe
See,
some
not really
people
that
have.
funny.
Maybe some people have, though. I think that's actually
Lincoln-
really cool.
Lincoln
Mhm.
Boyhood National Memorial is a thing. Why are we using the
know,
word
that's
boyhood
where we-
so
that's
much?
where that's where the mama's buried. That's where
Oh, is
Oh.
that what you just said?
they have some of the original cabin still stands, or I mean the stones, the foundation.
Watch out, folks. Wikipedia is asking for money again.
Anyway, that's all I got on pennies on graves. My own experience, my own stories
Yeah,
of
that's
pennies
pretty
on
cool. I've never seen it.
Lincoln's
But
face
why-
sat upon the stone.
Why do they not tell you what the name of it was before it was Lincoln City?
No, but maybe it was nothing before that.
Well, that would be very presumptuous of the Lincoln family.
Do we want to
Dusty's
circle back
leaky
to
gut.
this?
Circle back, no, please.
Well,
For the love of God, no.
there was like 3 things before.
You didn't have to
Okay.
tell. Nobody would have known. You could have
No,
just
but I
gone
didn't. I
with
just.
the gut.
I'm not gonna go with the gut. I'm gonna go with Big Bird Goes to Space, Cold
Listen to me.
Ketchup,
Listen to
and
me.
How Aaron Met Lucy.
Jacy, for the love of the Lord, listen to me. If we talk about Big Bird in space, I'm going to lose my mind because this was 20 minutes on Big Bird that I could never get back for my life. So that's how I feel about that.
I'll just
Man.
say I'm glad that they didn't send him because, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been hard for the kids at home to watch.
Well, I was in 2nd grade, so yeah, it would have been hard for me.
I just think it's funny when they said, why didn't he just like put the suit on when he got up there? Why does he have to travel in the suit up there?
I did have a visual in my mind of like Big Bird's head floating and like
It's
them
just,
like trying to
strapped
pull
in
it
like
back
this.
down, but it doesn't work, and like them like, oh, I'm missing the suit and like
Yeah.
veering off, you know.
Anyway.
And if any kids are watching this, Dusty's crazy.
Well, I hope kids don't watch this because they'd be bored.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
This is for you, kids.
speaking of, okay, so they got into all of the things they didn't
Cold.
get into.
Oh, now we're skipping stuff?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I like cold ketchup, I wanted to say. And
Yeah, I do.
I thought it was really funny when Brian asked Aaron, is it true that you weren't interested in Lucy at first until you found out she worked for Zanies?
That was good.
I mean, that's
Very
such
funny.
that was such a good, joke.
It also is true. All right, go ahead, Jacy.
Obviously. All right,
Next.
okay, World War II. Blah, 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 blah.
World War II.
Yeah,
I know that they've talked about that Japanese soldier before on another
thought they
episode.
did.
Yeah, they did, because that's how I heard about it for the first time. I
But
know
what's
it was watched.
is that they talked about Yetis for a while. That was fun.
They did.
When they had to look up the word abominable, I was like, I know what that means because I feel like it was in a Seinfeld episode or something where but probably not. I think it was the word loathsome. Anyway, sorry, got nothing for you there.
Yeah, and I guess that, look at her, Yeti Brandi.
As long as you're Yeti for anything.
So, I mean, that guy's wife, I mean, you're married to this dude who keeps going out and trying to find a Yeti? And then
Well,
he
she
kind
made him
of dies?
stop for 10 years. Like any good woman.
I
Killed his
guess
hopes
so.
and dreams, you know?
But you can't get rid of that Yeti passion.
The Yeti's always going to come back. The taste for the Yeti.
Yet it
you know?
did.
There's such a primal urge to search for a Yeti in a young man's life. It cannot be quenched.
I'm
So-
picturing that scene in Field of Dreams when Kevin Costner's staring at the field, just waiting on, if you build it, he will come. He's waiting on that guy to come, and everybody else is like doing life in the background. He's just staring at it. Picturing this guy just looking out the window in a snow one day, thinking, one day.
One day
Yeti.
I'm going to see that furry jerk.
That's how I feel on this podcast.
One day we'll get a
One
laugh.
Staring out into a
One
field.
day something funny is going to come out of one of our faces.
Animal attacks. All right.
Okay,
What?
so the cocaine bear, Pablo
It's
Escobar.
my favorite.
I can't
Love
believe
a
this is a
cocaine
real
bear.
thing. I'm really. We get a hay bear from Dusty.
Mm-hmm. Nate had the bear shirt on too.
Bear.
Oh, I guess he did.
That's enough bear talk, guys. You've reached the quota.
Jen cannot bear it when that happens.
I just think it's crazy that this happened for real, but they're like dramatizing it. I guess I can, because it's movie magic.
Hollywood,
But-
baby.
The bear did nothing but eat drugs and died. and they're making a movie about him. We've done more stuff than that. Make a movie about us.
I've also done that.
I have to say, real quick on this topic, it was eerily close to a joke that Dolly Parton just told on Jimmy Fallon recently. So go Google that, folks.
Okay.
Can you just tell us what
Brandi
it was?
homework.
Dolly delivered it quite well. She told a story about a bear when she was growing up in Tennessee. You gotta Google it. I'll put a link in our.
I might have heard. Yeah.
I'll put a link.
I'm sorry. I keep yawning. It's not because you're
I'll
boring.
put a link somewhere
All right.
on our YouTube page.
How about those goats climbing mountains? Woo, crazy.
I could see Nate having like really bad anxiety. It came out. He's usually cool as a cucumber, but as soon as he like got into like his dad mind, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. You're like,
Get off those rocks,
get off
you
the
goats.
mountain. That was really
All right.
His little supposed, his little made up goat fight. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
No one of us is gonna fall.
Oh,
I
right.
don't remember it.
Yeah.
Aliens Part 2. Hey, when Dusty talked about
Yeah, I
the
love this
exhaust of the spaceship being what part of the Red Sea?
Part in the Red Sea.
The exhaust from the spaceship
So
split the Red
stupid.
Sea
So
at the same
stupid.
time that Moses opened his arms.
I also
And
like
then-
what they said about Brian, like he would be returned back to slavery. Like he would just be like, they'd be like, no, you're going back.
I'm
Going back.
almost there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He also said something, Dusty said something about like not wanting to give credit take credit away from God and give it to the aliens or something. I
Yeah.
forgot that quote, but I was like,
You got it
It
right.
was
Alright.
a good talk.
preach.
Dusty was knocking
mean,
it out. He was
Things I
right.
never thought I would hear preached, but yeah,
Preach, Slay.
Preach it.
Hey, can we just jump to the numbers? Let's just jump to the numbers. It's interesting. And also before this, we Googled Terrence Howard, and Brandi, what did you say you knew him for?
Isn't he the voice of Tiana's dad?
That just blew my mind when I saw his picture. I was like, wait, that guy's been in so many things.
And
I should have left it. I should have
That's
left
the one
it.
that's been on the most at my house.
I should have left it pulled up. He's been in Iron Man, Empire, Hustle and
yeah.
Flow, Get
Hustle
Rich or
and
Die
Flow.
Trying, Prisoners.
Graphic,
I
I
just
think.
watched that.
Mhm.
Oh, now I've clicked away from it, but you get the point, people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Enough. Yeah.
and now he's crazy and talking about 1 × 1 = 2. Is that right?
Hey, if I studied numbers for even 10 minutes, I'd start talking like that because numbers are not
Well-
my thing. Jacy, can I get an amen, sister?
Mm-hmm.
It started
Yeah.
to make sense to me, honestly, by the time they got done with that. And Dusty explained how 1 × 1 does equal 2, because 1, if you're multiplying it, there has to be a multiplication. It can't just be 1. And I was like, that does make sense. And I'm pretty sure that's why I failed on my maths classes. So,
Yeah, I know. I get what they're trying to say, but what's funny is I'm not a big math person, but as soon as Dusty starts to explain anything, he draws me in, and I'm like,
yeah.
"You're right. You're
Because
right."
we want someone to make it make sense for us.
Make
So
it
we
make sense.
will believe them.
I
Absolutely.
had a pretty crazy day on Wednesday, and I was listening to the podcast. I usually watch it, but I was listening to it in parts. And I had sat down, and Nateland had posted in their stories a video of Dusty
Mhm.
working out his math that he explained. And thank the good Lord above, I saw that video before I heard this part of the podcast because I would have been so lost. I mean, thank you, Aaron Land, for that hilarious meme because, yeah, I be folks in your meme. That was me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they also put it on the screen during the podcast, so you probably would have.
A little bit. I went back and
You would've
tried
got
to
the
rewatch.
gist.
I really did. But when Aaron was typing it out, it was better when Dusty wrote it because I could see, how
Once
he had
again,
lined up the way that it made sense to him. And my favorite part of the whole thing was how he talked about how his mind was so blown that he wasn't in the right headspace to go on stage, and they all laughed. That was pretty good. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I got a show to do. I don't know if I can.
Just picture him as a madman in his room, like, I can't go on, I can't go on, I can't go on.
No, I picture him going out there and being like,
Yeah.
you know what?
How old are you?
My life just completely got changed. You know, I want to tell you about some numbers tonight, okay, folks?
And for my first number.
We're having a good time. 1 times 1 equals 2.
Yeah. They said the conspiracy theories was the most watched episode of 2022. And I believe that.
I don't know. I don't believe it. I think it's a conspiracy.
I thought peanut butter and
jelly.
No, peanut butter and Pringles.
Potato chips?
I figured
potatoes.
I figured that one would have been the most watched. That
See, you
seemed like that was the most
too,
talked
Jacy.
about.
Is that what it was called? Guys, I can't get comfortable, and my chair is squeaking so much.
We can't hear the squeaks.
Good.
But
good.
A T-Rex named Sheen. 54% Shen?
Yeah.
Sheen
you're
not
talking
like
about
the
the clothing.
clothes.
Which
is still 54% real.
It's not ethical. Apparently it's not a good.
It's all fake, folks.
Yeah. So don't buy dinosaur bones, don't buy Sheen.
But listen, here's another thing. People can say what they want about Dusty, but he's on point with a lot of these things. That they found the bird skull that's similar to ours today, but they're trying to make it fit into their whole science thing. But that's the point of science, is for us to keep evolving our science and our, you're supposed to test things, but they keep trying to fit everything into what we have deemed as facts.
I just think that what you just said doesn't make sense. And that's how I felt during this part of the podcast too, because it was like, what? Like, what?
You're not picking up what I put down, Jen.
What are we doing? I don't even know. Nobody knows. So that's where we're all at, is we just don't know, We
just don't know, but people are pretending like they do know.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. You get it.
Got it.
You picking it up.
We did it. We did it.
Brandi, what are you laughing at? Were you checking your phone?
I was taking a little picture of us for my memories.
Good night. All right. I loved Brian's predictions. That was cool to hear that they had all come true.
Yeah.
Except for something. What was the one that didn't come true?
Well, he said that Aaron didn't get his own special, but I guess Aaron was on a special or something. And
yeah,
so
he said, what about that? Something, and they fist bumped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checks out.
I loved it.
Here's what we should do. We should all chip in on a cameo and ask Brian to make predictions for us.
Well, I wish you hadn't said chip in on a cameo. Wish you would have just said, let's ask Brian to make predictions
we
for
can
us.
do that. He probably won't watch this, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah,
I think he's given up on
would
us.
love to have a Folkland
Here.
prediction.
Actually, let me just call him real quick. Jacy's got the number.
Yeah.
605-313-4000.
He said, please call him at this number. He sent me it directly. And
wait.
Merry Christmas! This is Santa Claus, and you have reached my personal hotline.
What a scam!
Santa!
My goodness. I can't believe Bates would go that low.
All I want for Christmas, Santa, is for Brian Bates to come on Folkland.
Can you tell Santa?
That's all she wants.
Oh, I did. Sorry, I only thought about myself. Typical. All right, okay. Well, what do you guys think for us for 2023? What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to have more high-profile guests, maybe?
Okay. I think we're going to fix our sound issues, and the professionalism of the production's going to
Yes.
rise.
Absolutely. We are going to Flow better.
No more awkward pauses.
I totally think that
promise
God is going to show favor and bless us. I really do.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be in Bridgestone April 15th.
Woo, woo. Let's
Definitely.
go,
I think we're going to be the pre-show hosts.
No shart about it. Sorry.
No shart about it.
You don't remember that?
I remember they said something
Synthetic
about
human
shart.
acoustic reproductive testing. You remember that?
Yeah, I love sharts.
Okay.
That's great.
Well,
On
I mean, it's
the artificial
we can't
intelligence
stop talking
episode.
about it. We couldn't. I could not talk about it since obviously we've talked about this kind of stuff before here.
It did make me think about my story that I told you guys about, and in that moment, I wished someone could have smelled what I dealt to tell if I had cancer. You know.
Well, what's funny is they're like, "Here, guys, just sit in this room and eat all this." And what did they say? Something like, "Have the time of your life" or something.
Yeah, I loved when the guys were just sitting there smoking cigars, and they were like, "This is the best gig I've ever had." Like, why would you be that excited about people farting?
Okay, I have to chime in. There was one thing that we didn't make a note of that had me laughing so hard. And when you said smoke a cigar, it took me back to it. When they said that Brian was doing his stand-up like Dave Chappelle, and Nate then went
hitting the microphone.
I
on
was
his
like,
knee.
it's hard to tell where Dave Chappelle ends and Brian begins. It's like his doppelganger. They're practically the same person.
You can picture Brian up there like, shoot.
Yeah.
That's as much as we could say.
Is he sticking that microphone in his pocket? What's he doing?
That was funny.
So
Oh
funny.
my gosh, that was really funny.
I actually could see Brian coming up soon here.
Oh yeah,
I might want to go heckle him. You know?
yeah, absolutely. I
Bring
thought it was
bring a stuffed squirrel and just like set it on the edge of the stage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought Nate's at the end was very humble and sweet with his send off. I kind of got a little choked up because I was like, wow, he's really speaking from his heart there. And it's like there was a lot that he wanted to say, you could tell, but he was trying to, keep it short and sweet. But I thought it was awesome.
I thought it. Okay, full transparency moment. When Jacy had texted, sorry, Brandi, I can't concentrate on what I'm saying and what you're humming because I have that bad of attention span that I was like, wait. Jacy had messaged us and said that she got choked up at the end before I had finished watching it. So I think it screwed with my like perception of what was going to happen because I was expecting something like really big, but it was just kind of like his normal like, none of this is lost on us. We're so grateful, blah, blah. So I was kind of like, oh. And I kind of wish that I had that moment that you had, Jacy?
Organically.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe here's what we can count on. I forget everything that happens on the podcast after I watch it. So maybe I can go back and rewatch it now.
And it'll be brand new.
I'll be like, wow, that was so sweet.
Like Dory.
Yeah.
Next week will
so
be fun
sad.
because it's going to be a best of to end the year.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Let's talk about the best of breakfast bites.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay, there were a lot of pretty good ones.
For the
There
week,
was
anyway.
Yeah, for the week. I found these on Nateland YouTube and then the Nateland Facebook group.
Thanks,
And they
Bates,
were-
for telling us where you found them.
Bumble, Blueberry, Beatitude. I think that was in the episode. Broccolini, Bombshell, Baseball Bat, and Beefcake Bates.
We didn't talk about baseball.
I'm sorry. I'll try to do better next time.
It's fine. I guess we can talk about it later in our real lives or whatever.
I do want to say one-liner was when Brian was talking about his special coming out. He has a dry bar special that's coming out next year. He said, "You think I'm condescending now? You wait." And I thought, yeah. He's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Every time we bring this up, I picture him in that pimp suit.
Hey, today
Dusty mentioned that. Dusty said something about that.
we put out some
Yeah,
coats.
I know. It was like our conversations.
We put out some coats today for people because it's getting like real low temps here, like 12 degrees. And we just put them out on the benches and said, like, take a coat, put a sign.
Yeah.
And there was a fur coat out there. And I was like, hold on, this is sick. I said, Lord, I just pray some lady gets this coat. But now I'm picturing Bates in it. And I always picture him in the coat that Jerry Seinfeld wore in that episode. I picture him in that coat.
What if he's just taking a walk and he's like, somebody left this nice coat out here?
Yeah. Well, I'd want to know what he's doing at my work because that's creepy. And I told him to stop.
He likes to get to know all the folks.
Michael Scott, remember he got a faux fur and they destroyed it real fast when he was walking out of Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh, right.
You reminded me, Jacy, of somebody in the group who, when somebody posted what Brian's number was, and somebody was like, please don't post that. I'm sure he wouldn't want thousands of people calling him. And I said, actually, I'm pretty sure he would really like that, actually.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
I do want to know why he took the number off, but that's fine.
We know where to find you, Brian.
Probably over it. He's like taking texts and video footage of the baby, and she's trying to get the laundry done.
That was funny.
I can't imagine that many people texted or called him. You know, I want the real story. I want the Hollywood true inside story.
That would be great. A mockumentary, true Hollywood story of Brian Bates.
And Ruth comes on camera and she's like, honestly,
I'd like to see
it wasn't
Rob
that
Reiner.
big of a problem at first.
Yeah,
but then
Rob
the
Reiner
calls never stopped coming.
In the middle of the night, couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Very good.
All
Listen,
right, well,
folks, we want to thank you for riding with us at the beginning of Folkland this year as we came back rebranded. Hello, folks. We came back rebranded, and we thank you very much for giving us a chance and riding along with us throughout the end of 2022. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks. You guys are cool. And yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.